In a peaceful village surrounded by green hills lived an elderly farmer named Baba Kofi. Baba Kofi was 70 years old, with kind eyes and a smile that showed wisdom and humility. Though his back was bent with age, he worked hard every day, growing vegetables in his small garden. Every morning before the sun rose, Baba Kofi carefully picked fresh greens, colorful eggplants, and ripe tomatoes, arranging them neatly in a woven basket. He would load the basket onto his old bicycle and travel to the market to sell his produce. For Baba Kofi, the market was more than just a place to sell vegetables. It was where he could meet friends, share stories, and feel part of the community. Even though his children lived far away and his wife had passed on many seasons ago, Baba Kofi's spirit remained warm and generous. One morning, as the cool breeze brushed against his face, Baba Kofi steered his bicycle through the narrow streets. The market was near, and the sounds of people chatting and animals braying filled the air. Just as Baba Kofi was about to turn into a small alley, his bicycle wobbled over a stone. The basket tipped, and with a loud crash, some vegetables spilled onto the road. To his horror, the handle of his bicycle scraped the side of the black car, leaving a long, visible scratch. What would you do if you were in Baba Kofi's place? Grab some popcorn, sit back, and stay with us, because this story is about to take a surprising turn you won't want to miss. Baba Kofi's heart sank. He froze in place, staring at the scratch. "Oh no," he whispered, his voice trembling. "What have I done? This car looks so expensive." As he knelt to gather his fallen vegetables, the car door swung open and a young man stepped out. He was dressed in a sharp suit, his watch glinting in the sunlight. His face was full of anger. "Old man, do you know what you've done?" the young man shouted. "This is a luxury car. Do you even understand how much it costs to fix something like this?" Baba Kofi bowed his head, his voice soft and apologetic. "I am so sorry, young master. It was an accident. My bicycle slipped." "I will try my best," Baba Kofi said softly, his hands trembling as he picked up his fallen vegetables. "Please tell me the cost, and I will work to pay." But the young man only grew angrier. He stepped closer, pointing a finger at Baba Kofi. "At your age, shouldn't you be at home resting? Why are you out here causing trouble for others?" Those words felt like a slap. Baba Kofi bent lower, quietly gathering his broken tomatoes and spilled greens. Just as the situation seemed unbearable, a calm yet firm voice broke through the commotion. "What's going on here? Why are you shouting at this elderly man?" Everyone turned to see a well-dressed woman stepping out of that car. She carried herself with grace, her sharp eyes scanning the scene. The young man, caught off guard, stepped back. "Madam, this old man scratched your car with his bicycle. I was handling it." "Handling it by shouting at him?" the woman asked, her voice sharp. The young man fidgeted and avoided her gaze. The woman turned to Baba Kofi, her tone softening. "Baba, are you hurt? Are you all right?" Baba Kofi looked up at her, his eyes filled with stress and shame. "I am fine, madam," he said, his voice trembling. "I am deeply sorry for what I've done. It was an accident, and I will do anything to fix it." The woman nodded slightly, her expression softening. She turned to the young man and said firmly, "Yes, the car is scratched. But that does not give you the right to treat this man with such disrespect. He is elderly, and accidents happen. What will happen next? Will kindness prevail, or will anger win? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more inspiring African stories. Stay tuned to see how this tale ends. "We need to resolve this issue, but not by treating an elder poorly," the woman said firmly. The young driver lowered his head and muttered, "I'm sorry, madam. I lost my temper." The woman sighed, clearly disappointed. Then she turned to the growing crowd. "Please, everyone, don't just stand here. Let's not make this a spectacle. I will handle the situation," she said calmly. The bystanders slowly moved away, although many stayed close enough to watch. The woman turned back to Baba Kofi with a kind smile. Baba, don't worry. I am not the type to make a big deal over a small scratch. But could you tell me what happened so we can understand better? Baba Kofi let out a deep sigh of relief. He felt comforted by her words. Bowing his head, he said, "This morning, I was riding my bicycle to the market. My bike slipped, and I accidentally scratched your car. I truly didn't mean to. If you need to fix the car, I'll find a way to pay. It's my fault." The woman nodded, listening attentively as Baba Kofi explained. When he finished, she smiled gently. "Baba, you don't need to worry. I can see that you're honest and responsible. It's just a small scratch. I don't think it's worth making a big fuss about." But the young driver wasn't satisfied. "Madam," he said, frowning, "even if it's a small scratch, it's still his fault. If we let it go, what will others think? What if someone else damages the car and thinks a simple apology is enough?" The woman's face turned serious. Her voice became firm. "That's enough," she said sharply. "Yes, he made a mistake, but you cannot talk to an elder like that. Do you even know how to respect your elders? Do you understand what it means in our culture to honor those who came before us?" Her words silenced the young man instantly. The villagers murmured among themselves, some nodding in agreement. "She's absolutely right," one elder in the crowd said. "Respect for the elderly is rare these days." Hearing this, Baba Kofi felt both relief and guilt. He bowed his head and said softly, "Thank you, madam, for your kindness. But it's still my fault. Please tell me how much it will cost to repair the car. I will try to pay." The woman gently raised her hand, signaling him to stop. "There's no need for that, Baba," she said. "I don't want any money for the repair. But do you have family nearby? Perhaps your children or grandchildren? Can you call someone so we can discuss this together?" Baba Kofi hesitated, then pulled out an old mobile phone from his pocket. With trembling hands, he dialed a number. "Hello, Amari," he said softly. "It's your father. Can you come quickly to the main road near the market? I've had a little accident and I need your help." On the other end, his son's voice was full of concern. "Baba, are you hurt? Don't worry, I'm on my way." The woman smiled reassuringly. "Let's wait for your son. Together we will find a way to resolve this peacefully. Don't worry, Baba. Everything will be all right." Less than 20 minutes later, a motorbike sped toward the scene. The rider, Amari, stopped abruptly, jumped off, and hurried over to his father. "Baba, are you okay? Are you hurt?" Amari asked, looking his father over with worry. "I'm fine, my son," Baba Kofi replied in a low voice. "But I scratched this woman's car by mistake. I apologized, but the driver wants me to pay. I called you because I didn't know what else to do." Amari glanced at the black car, noticing the long scratch. His face tightened with frustration as he turned to the driver. "Why are you making such a big deal over a small scratch?" Amari said angrily. "My father already apologized. Why wasn't that enough? Why did you treat him so poorly?" The young driver opened his mouth to respond, but the woman raised her hand to stop him. She looked at Amari with calm, sharp eyes. "You must be his son," she said. Amari nodded, his tone still firm. "Yes, I am. My father made a mistake, but I won't accept him being treated with disrespect. If the car needs repairs, I will pay, but I won't stand for this behavior." The woman smiled softly. "You are a good son, but I want you to calm down. I am the car's owner, not the driver. Your father has already apologized, and I don't see any need to make this situation worse. It's just a scratch, and it doesn't matter." Amari hesitated, his anger softening as her calm tone reached him. "If that's the case, I apologize," he said. "But I insist that my father take responsibility. Please let us pay for the damage." The woman shook her head, her smile kind but firm. "This is not about money. Your father's apology and sincerity are enough. The scratch doesn't matter. What matters is how we treat one another." She turned to the driver and said coldly, "You've disappointed me today. I've told you before. Respect is everything. You have embarrassed yourself with your behavior. The driver lowered his head, too ashamed to reply. Then, the woman bent down to help Baba Kofi pick up the fallen vegetables. "Baba," she said gently, "your vegetables are spoiled from the fall. Please allow me to compensate you. What do you think of this wise woman's actions? Did she handle the situation well? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Mr. Folktales for more inspiring stories like this one." Baba Kofi shook his head with a small, humble smile. "No, my daughter. You've already shown me kindness. That is more than enough. These are just vegetables. They can be replaced." The woman smiled back warmly, but her voice was firm. "Your hard work deserves respect, and I insist. These vegetables may seem small, but they are your livelihood." She pulled out a bundle of notes and pressed them into his hands. "Please take this, Baba. Consider it payment for your efforts today." The small crowd murmured in admiration. A young man standing nearby whispered to his friend, "She's not just generous, she truly respects people." Baba Kofi hesitated, but finally accepted the money, his voice breaking slightly. "Thank you, my daughter. May God bless you for your kindness." The woman straightened and addressed the crowd. Her voice was calm but carried weight. "This scratch on the car is nothing compared to a person's dignity. Let us never forget the value of respect and kindness, especially to our elders. The world is a better place when we lift each other up." The crowd nodded in agreement, some clapping softly to show their respect for her words. Turning to Baba Kofi's son, who had been watching quietly, she handed him a business card. "Young man, if you ever need help or guidance, don't hesitate to call me. I admire the way you stand by your father, but remember, strength must be paired with patience and understanding." The son took the card with trembling hands, reading it in disbelief. She was the CEO of a well-known company in the region. He looked up, his voice shaky. "Thank you, madam. I'll never forget your kindness today." The woman gave a final nod, her gaze soft but full of meaning. "I only ask one thing. Carry this lesson forward. Teach others to respect the elderly and to act with kindness, no matter the situation." With that, she stepped into her car, and the driver, now visibly humbled, opened the door for her without a word. As the luxury car drove away, the atmosphere was filled with a renewed sense of hope and understanding. Baba Kofi looked at his son, his eyes glistening with emotion. "My son, today was a lesson for us both. Let us remember that good people still exist, and it is our duty to be among them." The son nodded, helping his father gather what they could of the remaining vegetables. Together they walked away from the scene, their hearts a little lighter and their spirits lifted by the unexpected kindness of a stranger. The crowd around them began to disperse, but the story of Baba Kofi and the noble woman quickly spread throughout the market. An elderly woman selling yams nearby watched Baba Kofi with a warm smile. "You're very blessed, Baba," she said. "It's rare to see someone so wealthy and kind-hearted. If more people were like her, this world would be a much better place." Another man carrying a basket of fruits chimed in. "She didn't just teach her driver a lesson, she made all of us think about how we treat others. It's a day we'll remember for a long time." Baba Kofi felt both grateful and humbled. He nodded and thanked the onlookers before turning to his son. "Let's gather the remaining vegetables, my son. What's done is done. Life goes on, and so does our work." His son, visibly moved, silently helped organize what was left of their goods. Yet his mind kept wandering to the card the woman had handed him. That evening, as they sat together in their modest home, the young man held the card and read it aloud. Amina Ibrahim, founder of Ibrahim Foundation. He turned to his father, his voice uncertain yet hopeful. "Baba, she said I could reach out if I needed help. Do you think I should call her?" Baba Kofi looked thoughtful for a moment, then smiled. "My son, There's no harm in seeking help if it is offered with kindness. But remember, help only opens a door. It is up to you to walk through it with your own efforts. The next morning, with a mixture of nerves and excitement, the young man called the number on the card. A warm voice on the other end invited him to visit the foundation's office. A few days later, he stood before Amina Ibrahim, who welcomed him with the same kindness she had shown at the market. After a heartfelt discussion, she offered him a role at the foundation, a position perfectly suited to his skills and ambitions. Over time, the young man thrived in his new role, growing both professionally and personally. He learned the value of patience, understanding, and empathy, qualities that Amina often emphasized. Whenever he visited his father, he shared stories of the valuable lessons he was learning and the people who inspired him. As for Baba Kofi, his life remained simple, but his heart swelled with pride and contentment. He often thought of the woman who had not only shown them kindness, but had also planted seeds of hope and growth in their lives. The story of the woman, the vegetable seller, and the driver became a cherished tale in the community, a reminder of the power of kindness, respect, and humility. One sunny morning, as Baba Kofi sipped tea on the wooden bench outside his home, he noticed a familiar car pulling up. To his amazement, Amina Ibrahim stepped out, her smile as warm as ever. "I was passing by and thought I'd visit you, Baba," she said, her voice as gentle as the breeze. Baba Kofi welcomed her inside, and they spoke about life, resilience, and the small joys that made it beautiful. Before leaving, she looked at him with a thoughtful expression and said, "Kindness is like a seed, Baba. When planted in the right hearts, it grows and spreads, touching lives far beyond what we can imagine. That day at the market, you planted that seed in me and so many others." As she drove away, Baba Kofi sat quietly, watching her car disappear into the horizon. A deep sense of peace filled his heart. He realized that no matter how tough life might be, kindness had the power to make the world brighter. If this story has inspired you, remember that even the smallest acts of compassion can change lives. Let's make kindness a habit, one moment at a time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more uplifting stories. Together, we can spread positivity and hope to every corner of the world.